Welcome to the Pop-Off with Gene FitzMagic and friends. Your daily sports and entertainment radio show, live all over the world. You're going to want to hear what these guys have to say. With their hot takes, recaps, previews, and predictions, sometimes these guys might get along, but most times, they won't. So see what happens when these guys pop off about the world of sports and entertainment.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Pop-Off. Gene FitzMagic, Nigel Downer, Caleeb Pinkett. How you guys doing, my friends?
Oh, good, brother.
Yep, living the dream.
Now, we talked about no AL East hats, but I see you got an NL West hat, so we're okay with that today.
Okay,
let's hear about where's the Dodger hat coming from?
Okay, great. So I had to go into the crates, and by crates, I mean like the bin that's full of new hats that I've never worn. So this one, I just took photos of it before the show and like curved it up. This, we're talking about your classic LA Dodgers. Nice little colorway there. You got the white, you got the black brim on the top, you got the under visor. Look at that red popping. You got the new era flag that's red here. And on the side, you've got a multicolor 1988 World Series championship badge.
The Kirk Gibson, right? That's the Kirk Gibson one?
Yeah, you got the blue LA on the back there. Now, I just have to mention that the colorway for this one is not only this hat is going deep. So I'm going for you, Gene, because I was like, I know you want me to go. I'll go different division. I'll go different conference. And then for Caleeb, this is also for you, my man. This is the Do the Right Thing, the infamous Spike Jones colorway. This is the Dodgers like shirt that he wore in the movie.
Yeah.
Spike Lee.
And then sorry, Spike Lee. Who did I say? Spike Jones?
Spike Jones. Yeah.
Oh, the director of the best skateboard movies ever. I just said that, but it doesn't matter. Spike Lee, I'm sorry, the infamous Spike Lee. And also the little triangles on the Do the Right Thing. Like that's why this patch has all those multiple colors.
Oh, that's dope.
Because it's the same colors as those little triangles that are on the Do the Right Thing posters. So that's what this is. Boom.
One of my favorite movies. I haven't seen that in a while. I gotta see that again.
Oh yeah, man.
It's a great one, man.
You gotta, that was in the 80s, so
yes.
You're okay to not have seen it in a while.
I've seen it often. I've seen it a lot, so I just haven't seen it in a while. But it's one of my favorite. It's one of my go-to movies.
Yeah, it's great. It really is.
Legendary Danny Aiello, R.I.P.
Hey, that's my man.
Yeah.
Sal.
But anyway, so we're back. We're gonna talk. We'll talk a little baseball today. Hey, real quick, because Nigel, you never really get a chance to give everyone. You got a hat spot on IG. Do you ever have a little location for it? So we give it a shout out right now.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, so it's right here in my tag. But if for those viewers aren't seeing us, they're listening to us. My hat IG is called Exclusie. It's at Exclusie, EXCLOOSIE, Exclusie. So and it's just my hats. It's just the rarity of the finds that I have and the rarity of the money that I have to fund this habit. So check it out. I have a whole bunch of photos that I've taken that I've yet to upload, but they're there. That's going to happen. So check out Exclusie. It's a lot of fun. If you have comments on whatever your comment is, shout it out. Maybe I have a hat. Hey, I'd love to see whatever hat. I might have it, believe it or not. So let me know. But yeah, that's the thing.
So that way, and if it's for people that just didn't even notice that, because I didn't even notice that it says it under that. I just said it out. I'm like, oh wait, it does say hat IG Exclusie.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
That's it.
So we're gonna talk a little baseball in a little bit, but we're also gonna talk a little football. So let's do a little Hard Knocks review. Have you guys caught up with Hard Knocks at all yet?
I'm behind. I have not.
You have not, Caleeb?
No.
I haven't watched it at all.
Really? I figured you guys would be into it.
No, I've never watched Hard Knocks.
No, what?
I feel like they put it on for the cameras, and plus I don't have to because ESPN covers it every morning because Greeny loves it.
He basically does a play-by-play of the episode.
So he's gonna show you all the hot clips. So I feel like I've seen it. You know what I mean? But I haven't watched it. But usually I want to wait so I can see like the episodes in a row because, it's weekly. So, if I get into it, I'm like, oh, I got to wait. It's like, nah, I want to watch from the beginning to end so I can see it. So I'm kind of going to give it a few weeks. I'm definitely going to check it out because they say it's actually really good this season. So.
It's really good. I'm going to cross it off because I'll have to wait for a week that Woody is back because, Woody watches that on repeat. So
yeah.
We'll get to that on a Tuesday.
Remember when he said he was playing like a cookout for episode 1 for the first? I remember that.
Yeah, he said he was cooking, slow roasting a pig for a week straight.
Yeah.
Was that the week I was gone? I don't remember him saying that. Must have been the week I was gone. He must have said that.
Maybe. Yeah, it might have been. Yeah. He was excited, dude. We brought it up and he was losing his mind, he was looking back too, like the kitchen was around here or something. He's like thinking about the spread and he was like, oh yeah, we got this too. We got this. The whole family's coming. I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah, they're about to do it big.
Yeah.
Well, they did it big. Shoot.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So then, let's go to some baseball. Are the Yankees done? I know we don't talk much baseball here. We're going to start with the postseason coming up now. It's going to start coming into where we can't help to escape it. But one of the teams that I think nobody expected to be already out of it, if they are already out of it, is the Yankees. Are they done? And are they done this year? Are they done for the foreseeable future, Caleb?
Foreseeable future? No, because they're the Yankees. Like, they're still legendary. They're like the Cowboys of baseball. Like, people just want to go play for them because of the allure of New York and the Yankees. You know what I mean? The Bronx Bombers and all of that. But then you also, I think this season, because look, this is August 17th, right? Yep. Playoffs start in October. You don't really have that much time. And these teams are rolling. Like, they're not going to beat Baltimore. They're not going to catch Baltimore. You know what I mean? So there's that. I feel like the Rays, like, even if they were to get there, they're not going to win. They'll probably be out in the first round anyway because the teams are too strong in the AL. You know what I mean? And I just think it's done for this season. And, Judge, he's got I think it's a torn ligament in his big toe. And people, listen, whatever that is, I don't know if it's torn but
he's playing through it, but
have you ever had an injury to your big toe or your pinky toe? They are your balance points. Let me tell you, excruciating, and especially the big toe, because your weight goes down on it, so it extends like the bone, like you know what I mean? Like it's extremely painful, and if you have to turn and dig, like to swing or run and dig to catch, like I just think this season is pretty much probably done for them. They're not over as an organization at all. All this is going to do is make them spend triple the money to buy every single person they can get. They'll probably pay money to get Babe Ruth out of the grave and get him to come hit designated, hitter for them. It's about to be, it's going to be insane. So, but I think baseball is better when the Yanks are in it because they're so iconic, right? Like the Red Sox too. The Red Sox have that, like where they're just iconic. Dodgers have that. There's certain teams where it's like when they're in, it's more exciting. You know what I mean? So, I don't think they're going to do anything this year. I think they're going to have to chalk this one up. It could surprise me. I could be wrong, but I just feel like it's a little too late to try to make a push to be in the postseason. With October basically 6 weeks away, I think this is pretty much it. But they are not done as a franchise by any means. No way.
My thing with that is, are they done this year? I think so. Yes. And we'll talk about some changes that maybe need to be made. But my thing is this. I feel like when you have an inept GM, what was the trading deadline, like 2 weeks ago? You have an absolutely inept GM when all he does is trade for two mediocre relief pitchers. Like, you're either buying or selling. You're either buying or selling at that point. Find out what you're doing, and then go. And if you're going to sell, I have no problem if they would have sold off pieces and they said, hey, we're in seller's mode. We did it back in 2016 and we bounced back pretty quick. So I would have no problem doing that. I would have no problem if we're buying because we buy every year. I would have no problem if they would have gotten some guys to bring in. But don't sit here and then make two freaking moves and trade for mediocre relief pitching. Not even a closer, not a setup man, relief pitching that was mediocre. That's your moves?
Tell them why you mad, son.
I don't get too angry.
Let him know, Gene. Let him know.
But Cashman, man, Listen, I think it's time for him to move on. He gets too much credit for the World Series in the 90s. He didn't build those teams. He wasn't necessarily even the GM for the beginning of that run. He was there, I get it, but he did not construct those teams that won all those championships in the 90s. He won the 09 one. I'll give him that. He won the 09 one. I give him credit for one World Series in all this time. But it was Gene Stickmichael and it was Bob Watson, who were the GM and the president of scouting that built those teams in the mid 90s to be the team that it was in the late 90s. It was those two guys that did it, not Cashman.
Right.
So
there's something going on with New York baseball right now because the guys on the other side of the city aren't doing too well either.
No.
Okay, they were both projected to
be
pretty damn good this season, like powerhouses, both of them.
Yes.
Colossal failures.
Listen, the Mets were to me one of my World Series picks. I mean, I had the Braves ahead of them, but I thought they were going to be pretty efficient this year.
So something's going on with New York baseball.
Bad GMs, bad general managers.
You know what? You're right. See, people forget how important those other positions are. Like when you coordinate and put a team together, like that stuff matters, man. It really does. Really does.
So Nigel, can we get your opinion on this? You're a fan of a team in the division, so you're pretty close to home on this.
Listen, when we see the Yankees slide, we're into it. We're down. But I'll tell you this: when the Yankees show up, when they come to Toronto, like we show out. Like it's sold out every time because, to Caleeb's point, it's like the Yankees are the Yankees. They'll never change. That image of them will never change, regardless of how much they slide. They're 14 games out. 14 games behind right now. They're not catching up.
No.
And it's okay because, again, they'll be fine. This season, I think it's a wrap. Do whatever you have to do to get people healthy because that whole division is so topsy-turvy. I mean, Baltimore's on top with 74-47. That's bananas to me. And then Tampa Bay, and don't forget Tampa Bay was up there as well. They were on top for a long time for that first half of the season. And my Jays, we're still, I mean, everybody still has a winning record for the most part, except for the Yankees, and they're so close. And that division is so tough, man. I think this is the first time, I know this is the first time that your Yankees have been below 500 or at 500 since like 95 or something.
Yeah,
like
it's been like if they finish below 500 this year, it'll be the first time in 30 years.
Yeah, which is nuts. And also just testament to the organization, right? So right now they need to leapfrog a whole bunch of teams, Toronto, Seattle, and Boston to get into the playoffs. There's no way. That's a tall order. But at the end of the day, it's nice to see this division have a lot of changes. It'll be nice to see what happens next year, who rebounds, who doesn't. And we got a lot of people. We talked about the Twins for a hot minute. They're still on top of the Central, 63-59, which is bananas. We talked about them for a hot minute some weeks ago. Yeah. And also, I think we had a good conversation around the West, the AL West with the Rangers. They're still on top, so they're just beating out Houston by 2 games. So, I mean, it's a crapshoot all over the place, man. And shout out to Milwaukee Brewers, 65-56. They're doing the thing in the Central and the National League, so
Atlanta to me is a juggernaut. I can't see Atlanta losing. I can't see them losing this year. I think once they get if they get to the World Series and they go up against, say, Baltimore, who is also a juggernaut, Baltimore hasn't been there yet. Atlanta has. So I think that gives Atlanta a huge upside, and I think I just do think they're just better right now. I think Atlanta's still a little young. They're way ahead of schedule. I'm sorry, Baltimore. Baltimore's way ahead of schedule. Baltimore's very young. I don't think people expected Baltimore to be where they were this year.
Right.
I thought they expected them to be like wild cardish and knocking on the door.
Right.
And they've really just ran away with it in the East.
Listen, absolutely. I went to a Baltimore Jays game like 3 weeks ago when they were in town, and I've never seen Baltimore play like this before. They were up 3-0 in the first inning. Like out the gate, they're like, boom, 3. It took us 2 innings to not only tie it, and then after that, the final score I think was 11-3 or 13-3 for Baltimore. Like they felt no ways against getting bases loaded or getting runs in. Like they felt no ways about it. So Baltimore is a different team I've never seen this year like play like that before. They're great.
Yeah, it's been a long time since they've been this good.
Yeah.
Baseball and crab cakes. That's what Maryland does.
Well, you know what? We'll see. We'll talk like I said, as we get a little closer to the postseason, we'll definitely be speaking more baseball. And then even with the offseason about some offseason moves because the Yankees are going to need to do a ton of them because we can't have this. And again, you're right.
Do you think Ohtani stays with the Angels?
I don't know if he stays with the Angels, but I think he stays West Coast. I don't think he comes to
really.
Yeah. I think the Yankees would have to give him like $500 million to
I think they will. I think everybody's going to have to give him that. I think that's the bottom. I think that's the starting. Are you kidding? They gave what's his name? Trout $400 million. You think you're not going to give this? What?
Yeah, but that's why I don't think he stays with the Angels. That's why I don't think he stays with the Angels. I don't think they can afford to give another guy that much money.
Yeah, he's getting $500 million just to have the meeting. Like that's bar.
Can you imagine being the Angels? If someone told you, listen, your team, we're going to start your team with Shohei Ohtani and Trout. You think we're going to the World Series every year, right?
Yeah.
And meanwhile, they're one of the worst teams in baseball every year, which is why I
don't understand how that happens. I really don't. Like it's
more general managing.
You know,
give all that money to one or two guys, and then nobody else.
And also those guys in San Diego, I just do not understand.
That's a loaded team. There's no reason for them
to be in. Okay, they're not like the worst. Like, but they started improving a little bit as the season has gone on, but nowhere near what the paper says they should be. Yeah. It's insane. It's really crazy, man. It really is.
On paper, they're a first place team. I don't know what it is. They need.
Hell yeah.
I think maybe it's the manager, whatever. I mean, there's definitely going to be changes there because that on paper that squad is a World Series contender.
Absolutely,
and they're the second to last place right now in the division. So
they've been swept a couple times in like series wise, and they like got beat up by Seattle. They got beat up by quite a few teams where you're like that shouldn't have happened.
Right.
I love the unities too, man. I'd like to see them be on like main TV every once in a while a little bit more. I like the Padres. I love their unis, the brown and with the brown blue stripe. So, but yes, we'll stay tuned on that, guys. Let's kick it over back to the NFL. Any off-season surprises that you guys haven't seen? Like, what's out there that you're like, wow, like either this player's come out of nowhere, or this player's not playing well, or what? Just and any in general surprises in the postseason, Nigel.
Yeah, I'll start gladly. I want to get this one out of the way because there's going to be a lot. I might get a lot of hate comments on the hat IG, but Baker Mayfield, man, I'm not going to lie. I'm not saying after week one that he's the man. I'm not saying
listen. And let me before you go, let me preface this. This is obviously overreactions because we only got 1 week in the books. But what happened this week that made you say, "Wow"?
Right. He did. In all honesty, he did. Just because, he went 8 for 9, 63 yards, got a TD in there. He just didn't look too bad. And from everything that we've seen in training camp, he was horrible. He was horrible in training camp. Yeah. But it's fine because to your point, Gene, this is we just passed week one. We're like tiptoeing right now into week two. But like, this who's it? Dave Canales? I'm not saying his name right, but the offensive coordinator, he could help Mayfield, man. Like this could be something. I'm not saying that they're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm not saying they're even going to win the division, but this could be something because the guy did the same thing when he was helping out Geno Smith, right? So it's like this could be a thing. So I'm gonna put that out there. He's not that bad. I also want to give a shout out to Elijah Dotson. So shout out to Caleeb's Chargers, running back, undrafted free agent out of Northern Colorado. My guy had 6 carries, 92 yards, and 2 TDs. Hey, let's just look out for him. You know what I mean? Again, this is really early, so everybody just chill out. Everybody chill. Okay, last but not least, the safety, Anderson from the Bengals. Look out for that kid too. He's a 2022 fifth round pick. He's got 2 INTs against the Packers. Hey man, he had the first pick 6, and he has a 4.36 40 speed. This guy showed it on that pick. Like, let's get after it. You know what I mean? So those are three people for me. Mayfield, Dotson.
When you got a safety that can move that fast, that's a dangerous combo.
Yeah. So those are the 3 cats that really stood out to me after week one.
Well, what about you?
Okay, so to piggyback off of what my man Nigel just said about Baker Mayfield.
Do it.
You know,
Do it.
I understand the practice, you know, like he wasn't looking good in there. And then, you know, then he started showing out. And I'd like to channel Baker's inner Allen Iverson. We talking about practice. Practice, not the game. Not the game. You know what I'm saying? So Baker went out there and did what he did. And if you guys remember, those that watch this show know I talked about Baker maybe 2 weeks ago or something like that, where I said, listen, not only am I a fan of his commercials, I think he's hilarious. I think he might be able to do something down there. Listen, and you see, it's already starting to come. You can only keep pushing somebody down so far. The only way is up after you get down so far. So I'm expecting to see a little something out of Baker because nobody's expecting the Bucs to do nothing. That's the best when they overlook you on the schedule. You know what I mean? The guys go out, have an extra drink that night when they know they're playing you. Great. That's good. So I'm excited for Baker. But who I was really, really impressed with is a guy named Jahmyr Gibbs. Plays for the Detroit Lions. Rawr. Let me tell you. Beast. Right? Like, because I thought I was going to have to give props to a dude named Deuce Vaughn, and I will. On the Cowboys, Tony Pollard better watch it. That dude is like an Austin Eckler. I'm like, I'm like, oh, okay, boys, are we watching? I'm talking about my Eagles, like, hey, like this dude, you know what I'm saying? You may have to sweep the leg. We may have to Cobra Kai him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's moving a little too fast through them holes. But Jahmyr Gibbs I'm like, wow, if he runs like that for that Lions team, they might win that division, like, or be fighting for second place, like, because Jordan Love, we already see what happened. We were talking. Nigel was just talking about my man throwing running back picks and all that. Listen, Green Bay, you know, yeah, you know what I'm saying. After the love is gone, it used to be right is wrong. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna see what happens. But I think the Lions are going to do something this year. When I saw that from Gibbs, I said, uh-oh, because those receivers are still out there.
Yeah.
Goff is not horrible. He's a game manager.
He's been to a Super Bowl. Let's not forget.
Right? Like, let's not act like he can't do something with them. And that defense is nasty.
Yeah, they definitely improved that defense.
Like, so they're going to be a problem. They are going to be a problem. So that's what I would say. That's what really stuck out to me.
See, I got 2 players to me that I thought it surprised me. One really surprised me because I wasn't sure how much that I thought that he would be that well improved this soon. And again, overreaction. It's overreaction. But Fields having. I know one drive, I get it. One drive, and I was teasing Caleb about it last time.
You told me.
I know.
No, you can't do that. No.
All right. Can I say this?
You see that?
Wait.
You see that?
Let me say this. I was just giving credit that I clowned.
Here too. Oh, you would.
I just gave credit that I clowned on it, but it is something to look at. Not so much what he did, but the offensive side of the ball clicking for Chicago.
Yes.
So and Fields is part of that, but the offensive side of the ball,
a major part of that.
So that's the part that, like, you know, it was a quick dump off twice, 2 dump offs and gone, right? But when's the last time Chicago's seen something like this?
That's my point.
So
that's all I was trying to say.
And then the other one is, I think we agree on this because you mentioned his name earlier. You just didn't go to depth. Is Deuce Vaughn?
Yeah, man.
Pollard better watch. Sign whatever you got to sign. Get back.
Because Pollard's injury prone. That's what I mean.
Injury prone, and also was worried about his contract. Well, look, you might not need to be worried about a contract in Dallas if Deuce Vaughn has anything to say about it. 8 carries, 50 yards. Broke 26 yards, had a touchdown. You're going to see that they're not now. He's not the biggest back, so it's kind of like
he's like Austin Eckler, very
much so. But if he could do half of what Austin Eckler does, they're going to have some duo back there in Dallas. And listen, I think a lot of people thought that their running game would take a little bit of a hit because even though Zeke wasn't what vintage Zeke
used to be,
you still need a guy like that. Well, they might have a guy like that with Deuce Vaughn.
Yes, sir.
And so therefore, Dallas. Everyone said, okay, defense is stacked. The receivers stacked. Offensive line stacked. Dak, we don't know yet. We'll see how Dak does if he gets these interceptions down. But the running game should be just fine. Let me put it this way: if they don't do something serious in the league this year, Dak's the only question mark to me.
Wait,
like, I'm not saying they're going to beat out the Eagles for the division, but they should be neck and neck.
I'm not even concerned with that. I'm not, because it's still whack Prescott. It's still your. It's
so
still
you don't think Prescott makes a bounce back year?
How? He is who he is. Like,
he vows he's not going to be their own picks this year. He vows it.
Yeah, but who cares what he vows? He's been vowing stuff since '89. Like, he talking about what he gonna do, and I don't care about all that. Like I don't think he is that guy. Like, I think he is serviceable. I think he's Jared Goff. And has not had as much success as Jared Goff. So
Jared Goff should be enough to get to win some games. Just the Eagles are just a juggernaut. That's the problem.
No, I get it. I'm just saying. I just don't believe in whack. I think he needs. I just don't think he's that tier that he is being paid and that he is looked upon as, and that's why he keeps falling short. Because it's not who he is. You know what I mean? Like, that's what the issue is. So,
I love how I know you say Whack Prescott all the time, but I love how when you just say his name, you're like, well, you know what, with Whack, it's
well, because it's like until he proves it, I will not put a D in front of his name. He gets the W. He is Whack. It is like, come on, man. You know what I mean? I used to call LeBron LeBrick.
Dak doesn't get any D.
It took LeBron James a long time before I started calling him LeBron, because he would always miss. I was like, here we go, LeBrick, and he would miss. I was like, on cue. Like, it's that. And then he's trained, and LeBron has improved his jump shooting. Yeah. I cannot deny that. So Wack needs to do the same thing. He has to prove it. You know me, I'm not even big on Jalen Hurts. I still think Jalen it's just he getting lucky right now, right? Like, that's how I feel, because I've seen him. I seen the real Jalen.
Let me ask you a question, because I know you are a fan of this guy. If you were offered player for player, Jalen Hurts for your guy out on the Chargers,
no question, not even a debate.
Herbert, you would take Herbert?
Absolutely, because he's gonna last longer, because he doesn't run as much. That's the truth. I don't care how much they can.
Pure pocket passer.
Yeah, and I don't even think Hurts could improve enough, could train enough to get that level of accuracy, and you damn sure can't match the arm strength, because that's God-given, right? So it's like, to me, there's no comparison, especially if I'm building a team. That's who I want back there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm being honest. I'm even worried about Josh Allen, because Josh runs with no abandonment. He just goes out there, and I'm like, dude, you're too big to be taking those hits. People forget, big people, like big guys, when they get hit and fall, that's a lot falling. That's a lot of weight. That's what happened to Cam. You know what I mean? Everyone's, he's so big, he's durable, he can take it. No, he couldn't.
Eventually.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So
our running backs can't last.
Yeah, especially like when they're a quarterback, because it's uncontrollable. Like they don't know how to, for lack of a better word, like take the hit, right? It's like you got a full force like linebacker coming at you, and you think you can do a move. The quarterback can't move. Like, they just whatever they want, they can't joke, they can't really do the thing.
And let's face it, a defender, when it has the ability, obviously they're allowed to hit differently. They're allowed to hit a quarterback differently when they are a quarterback on the run. Once that quarterback is on the run, you finally have a chance to lay into them that you wouldn't have normally had in other circumstances. You're going to lay into these quarterbacks because they take it as a slight that they can't hit you on other parts of the game. So there is that element of it as well. So, all right.
Just to be clear, Vaughn is the kid that was drafted by his dad, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure that was out there, because
and you know what, Nigel?
But he earned it,
because that's what makes that boy play like that. Because his dad is like, look, they're gonna hate on you so much. They're gonna say you're only here because of me. Go show them why you here. I promise you he's been hearing that.
Yep. Yeah. That's why I brought it up.
And
Did you hear the line?
Are you kidding me? Man, please. Like, nah, bro. Like, you got to ball out. You take Tony Pollard's spot. Telling that's what the dad is telling him.
Did you hear the line that the father said when they asked about how much he knew about the kid, and when he goes, "Well, I sleep with his mother, so I slept with his mom." So
that's amazing.
I thought it was a great quote. All right, so guys, what about the Jets now with this offensive line? Looks like everything's going roses for the Jets except this offensive line, and it seems now Aaron Rodgers is a little antsy. How important is this? Number one, we all know it's important, but how important is it they get it right sooner than later?
It's everything. It's terrible when your quarterback is tagging his old offensive lineman in Green Bay in his story when he's doing the signal that Aaron does behind his leg with his hand, like the signal to the line when he's going out. He tagged homeboy. Homeboy saw that and knows what that means. I don't know what that means, but I know it means get to New York. Whatever you got to do. That's what that meant. You know what I'm saying?
You talking about for David Bakhtiari?
Yes.
I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah. So it was on Sports Center early this morning. They were Greeny was talking about it, and he was like, look, and they had a big thing, and Aaron was doing the signal with his hand, and right on top of right where his hand was, he tagged David's name. Like, basically, you know what that means. And I don't have to play with Aaron, and I know that means get your ass right here. Like, get up to the line on two.
I am all for trading whatever we need to trade. We're already all in. So what's the point? Trade and how much does Bakhtiari cost? Could he cost more than a second, third round pick?
I know you got $35 million and you only spent $8.5.
Well, I think overall, we only had like 17 million or something like that, but we still have 10.
There you go.
There's other moves that are going to be made. There's other people that are not going to make this team. There's some people on the offensive line that might not make this team if we bring in better guys. I'll tell you what I'd like to see. We didn't talk about Hard Knocks. We'll do that another time. But one of the things I saw in Hard Knocks this last week is during the game against the Panthers, Mekhi Becton walked up to Aaron Rodgers as they were watching the game, put his arm around him, and he was listening. He's like, "Make sure we talk. Let's make sure we get lunch this week. Let's talk. We need to sit down and talk." So it seems like he's invested in these guys on the line that he's not ready to just say, "Hey, you guys stink." I think he wants to coach some of these guys up too as the quarterback. Because you want to take a lunch with Becton, that shows you that you have interest in these guys, that you want to get to know these guys, that you want these guys to work out. And I'm hoping they do. I have no trust in Becton. I'm sure if Woody was here, he'd say the same. He's been a guy that we looked great year one and has barely been on the field since then. Nigel, what's your say on this?
I mean, Rodgers has come out and just said that the concern is pretty low. His concern for what's happening is pretty low, right? I feel
is that just for the press, or is that?
Well, yeah. So what I'm saying is that I feel like it could be one of two things. It could be some lip service for the press. It for sure could be, just because they're on such. They've been the most talked about team since offseason of last year, right? Since it ended, all of a sudden when things got rolling for them, they've been the most talked about team. So now we're coming to fruition. They're on Hard Knocks. They got Aaron Rodgers. They got Cook. They got a lot of things happening. The other thing is something may need to break before, or may need to bend before it actually breaks. And when I say that, and what I mean by that is maybe the O-line is the unit that we're talking about that we didn't really focus on because we just assumed because Aaron Rodgers was there. We assumed now because they got Cook. We assumed all these other pieces were in place, but don't really talk about the O-line as a unit and how they feel. I'm not saying they're going to sabotage Aaron Rodgers. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying maybe they aren't as good as we all just assume they would be because Rodgers is there now. So maybe it is going to take time. Maybe there's going to be a lot of Rodgers scrambling out of the pocket because the O-line just like crumbles immediately. It might take some time for them. It's going to take some time for them to adjust to his style. So maybe this is just one of the biggest growing pains that the Jets are going to go through that has become a lot clearer than everything else. Does that make sense? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
So, I mean, that's my take on it. Like, it just might be the one unit that we just kind of overlooked, and they need to get their act together, man. I mean, obviously sooner rather than later, but I mean, they need to all go out for dinners. Let's go have drinks. Let's smoke a couple cigars, whatever the thing is. Let's get our mind right, get our feet quick. Let's get after it.
I think there's moves to be made. Would I like for them not to make moves? Obviously, I don't. Why use up more picks, right? But you're all in at this point. If you need to use up more picks, use up more picks. Like I forget the GM who said it, but fuck those picks. Like F them picks. Excuse my language, but F them picks. It gets to the point where, you know what, we're all in now. A first round pick for 3 years from now doesn't even make a difference because it's all about these next 3 years.
Right. So
and about the squad we have now, there's not much more improvement other than the offensive line that you need to do. So if you need to get that offensive line, because also let's face it, the offensive line makes the signing of the big running back we just signed, Cook, a little bit irrelevant because if he doesn't have holes to run through, like he's a good enough back that he can maybe make do a little bit. But if they're going to be as putrid as we've heard that they are in camp, then what's the point of signing another running back?
I think that's exactly what the coach said in Hard Knocks on the clips that I saw.
Well, he did. He said we could have a Hall of Fame quarterback, two top $10 million receivers, a Rookie of the Year, a room full of running backs, loaded running back talent. And if you guys can't block, we're going nowhere, pretty much.
That's right.
Paraphrase.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I totally get it.
So, all right. So, guys, let's talk a little bit about UFC 292. O'Malley is actually on the card with his crazy hair. And, you know, whenever we're going to talk about some UFC, I always got to defer to my man Caleeb because that's your thing, bro. So,
yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about what we can expect this weekend.
Okay, so O'Malley and Sterling should be really, really good because O'Malley is a striker. For those that don't know, that means he's worked from the feet, kicks, knees, elbows, punches, all of that. He's not a grappler, which Sterling is. So Sterling's looking to take him to the ground and maul him and submit him. So it's always the classic wrestler versus striker sort of thing. O'Malley has the reach, the height, you know, the speed. Aljo's shorter, you know, a little bit more compact, but way, as you see, 5'7", 5'11". You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting. But I expect Sterling to win this fight because I think he can surprise O'Malley with his ability to strike. And if O'Malley misses, and O'Malley is known for being accurate, so you know he's known for that. But if he misses a shot, and Aljo gets in there. And also the leg kick thing. O'Malley lost to a guy named Cheeto Vera. Shout out Cheeto Vera. I met him, and he was the coolest dude ever. Love that guy. Best of luck to you in your career, brother. But he fought Cheeto Vera, who he was just supposed to walk through. And Cheeto Vera hit him with a calf kick that plugged his nerve, and he lost complete feeling in his leg, and it just crumbled. And he couldn't stand up on it, and the fight was over. Right? And he should have never lost to Cheeto Vera, supposedly. But Cheeto's a dog, and he earned it. But I'm saying Sean doesn't do well with leg kicks. Sterling knows that. He's going to be leg kicking and looking to shoot. And that just means go in and grab him to take him down. I think it will be that. Of course, O'Malley can win. Anything can happen. You saw when Conor beat when he beat Jose Aldo, Jose came in and Conor countered and backed up and hit him with a left hook and knocked him out, and the fight was over in 13 seconds, right? So anything can happen in the UFC, which is why I love it. So there's that one. And then Zhang Wei Li, she's fighting against Lemos. Lemos is a dog. She can fight, but Zhang Wei Li is just too dope. She can kick. She can punch. She's super fast, super strong. She can fight on the ground. She's had a war. She had a war with my girl, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, who is now retired. Like one of the greatest women fights I've ever seen in the history of fighting, no matter what sport it's in. It was amazing. And she went through that. She fought Rose Namajunas twice. She lost both times. Thug Rose is a dog, but she's back. She's gained the title. I don't think Lamunch can beat her now. Of course she can, but I think Zhang Wei Li is just she's a monster out there. She just is. You don't want to see her in that octagon. And if you do, it's going to be a long night. So I say that to say I'm expecting to see some really good fights that this coming Saturday. I'm picking Sterling over over O'Malley, but I wouldn't be surprised if O'Malley won because you got to respect where respect is due. You don't get in that octagon without being a dog, and O'Malley definitely is that. And a lot of people don't like him because of his personality, but he's just trying to sell fights. Hey, you know what I mean? It is what it is.
It is show business. It is show business just the same.
Yes, sir.
So.
Absolutely. That's the part people forget. You gotta entertain, and Conor showed you how to do it. You entertain at that level, people tune in to watch you. You become bigger than just a fighter, and that's what O'Malley is. He's following in those footsteps, but he has to win. See, Conor was winning. Conor was double champ. You know what I mean? And then got to troll at the highest level. Still the greatest after speech of winning a title in the history of fights. So I think that's when he said, I'd like to take this moment to apologize to absolutely nobody. And it's the greatest thing ever. Like Roddy Piper and Ric Flair couldn't have come up with a better thing in that moment. You know what I mean? And then telling Justin Poirier after his leg is broke on the ground, your wife sent me DMs. I mean, come on, man. Come on. People got mad, but I don't care. That's what it is. You got to do that. So anyway, O'Malley has that. It's going to be great. But I'm looking forward to Zhang Wei Li too. I just want to see her do her thing. I'm picking her to win as well.
Nige, is there anything specific about this fight that you want to say?
Yeah, can we yeah, let's put up that photo once again. I think there was a photo that we had put up there, or maybe not.
Which one?
Yeah. No, the Sterling and O'Malley. Yeah. I mean, listen, man, look at those two. You know, for me, it's like I have no horse in this race, but O'Malley's got the tats. He's got the pink hair. Who knows what color he's going to come out with? His entrance is going to be ridiculous. And listen, I'm down, man. Good for you, big boy. Good for you. But we're talking about Jamaica. Okay? Yeah. We're talking about Sterling up in here. Jamaica. There's no way. That's my guy. I'm going with Sterling. Purely based on background alone. Purely based on that.
I think Sterling. Listen, there's a little bit of a height difference, but the reach is pretty much the same. So usually when you have a different height difference, usually there's a reach. I just look at I don't know. I haven't watched enough of O'Malley. I haven't seen him enough. I've seen a little. In fact, I'll be honest. I've never even watched a full fight of his. I just watched basically the clips of his fights. Sterling to me just seems like he's just a better all-around fighter. I know the two different styles. I just trust Sterling more in this match. But one question: if the match was to end early or end late, who? If it was end early, who wins? If it was end late, who wins?
O'Malley, if it's early, absolutely, because O'Malley got knockout power. I seen O'Malley hit people with one shot and they out.
So the longer it goes, the better of a chance it's going to be Sterling.
Hell yeah, because it's going to take Sterling. Actually, I mean, it would take Sterling longer because just to get somebody down and to submit them and get through the stuff. Because Sean is not just nothing on the ground. Yeah, he knows how to defend himself, but he's not nowhere Aljo's level. Aljo submitted Corey Sandhagen with a rear naked choke. Now, those that are UFC fans know exactly who I'm talking about and know how hard that would be. And Aljo did that like that. So I think he could do O'Malley quickly as well on the ground. But I would say early O'Malley, later Sterling. The later the fight goes, it's in Sterling's favor. I don't even know if Sean has had a 5-round fight. Actually, he hasn't. He hasn't never had a 5-round fight. I don't think so. So that changes everything. It's a different beast fighting 5 rounds versus 3. That's an extra 10 minutes of somebody on that ass.
Yes.
Pause.
You could have used a couple of more pauses. Rear naked chokeholds.
That submission is called though.
No, I know the move, but it sounds like something. It sounds like the name of a movie on Spice TV. Is what it sounds like.
Hey, shout out Spice TV. Those that remember Spice TV, baby. Yeah.
I don't even know if they even have that anymore. But if anyone remembers trying to watch the squiggles and trying to see through the squiggles,
yes, sir.
But anyway, I digress. The World Cup, England versus Spain. We finally have our finals. I know, Nigel. I know you got to be pumped about this. You're the soccer guy.
Yeah. I'm excited for this. This is So you got powerhouses at least in their men's counterpart. That's where these countries will be most familiar in terms of the fan base. So you have the UK, you have England, and you have Spain. But now we have the females, and they're just as dangerous. Like, this is no joke. This whole tournament has been no joke. And I said it early. I think I said it before. I think I said in the first, before the round robin started, because before tournament play started, because I was following Canada. This, if you should have been watching this thing, because not only when it went to the knockout rounds, but things preceding, like things leading up to the knockout round, were so exciting. Things like countries like Nigeria was having a stronghold in their division, which was crazy. Who else? Of the Asian countries, for the most part, like China, they were doing like all these different teams were really making headway, and England was just dominating and just destroying people. The U.S., unfortunately, they are not going to go for their triple. They were hoping. That was the big chatter around the world, not just in the States, and anybody who covered the soccer around the world, because this is the team that had the best chance to win 3 FIFA World Cups in a row, which has not been done, and it still will not be done because they're out. But even when they lost to Sweden, that was such a huge blow, not only for the team, because the team will now disband. It'll reset. Rapinoe's leaving, and a bunch of other players that we know are going to leave. And people are just kind of getting older, so that's going to change. But right now we're talking about the Lionesses, and we're talking about Spain. They are called La Furia Roja. I think I probably butchered that, but what it means is the Red Fury. Are you kidding me? Like the Lionesses versus the Red Fury. Amazing. You know that I'm a color commentator guy. I love unis and I love nicknames, and that's the deal. One of the players on the England team, her name is Lauren James, and she is the sister of a Chelsea player, of an England defender. He's actually on loan now to another team, but Reece James. So she has accolades from 2020, from the season 2022 to 2023. She won herself the Young Player of the Year award because she was just destroying with Chelsea as well. She's just phenomenal. Now she's got 3 goals. Okay, so she's second, I believe, in the race for the Golden Boot, which just means you scored the most goals in the tournament. She's second for that. There is 3 Spanish ladies, 3 that have scored 3 goals. So what I'm saying is that Lauren needs to have her best showing for this, because already there's 3 other players on the other team that can score at any given moment. So if you're not watching Sunday, or if you have nothing to do on Sunday, please watch. It's going to be a phenomenal game. And like some of the other one and done, some of the other games in this playoff round that have led to this culmination of the 2 teams going head to head, it might go to a shootout, which is that's a different conversation. That is a whole other conversation. But that just means that those 2 teams who were at neck and neck, toe and toe, and this is the only way that you can decide it. So definitely tune in. It's going to be dangerous. It's going to be a really, really fun game.
You know what? I'm rooting. Who are you rooting for? Like, who do you want to see win?
I want to see England win.
Really? See, I'm anti-England. I'm gonna tell you why.
When you say it that way, that sounds wrong.
Ever since 1776. No, no. But all kidding aside, when they were going up against Nigeria, I watched that game, and I thought the goalie was a little showboaty. There's nothing that I despise more. If I'm watching, let's take it to the NFL. Do you ever see a defensive back showboat when the receiver doesn't catch the ball, but not because he broke up the pass, but because the quarterback threw it 5 yards over his head, and then they come out waving their finger? It's like, dude, that guy would have had you burnt. He would have caught it, but you're lucky the quarterback overthrew it. In that game where the Nigeria and England came to a shootout, the Nigeria players, they would miss the net entirely. And she's showboat. She's putting her hands in the air like she's showboat. Like, you didn't block anything. You didn't save anything. What do you just move over? Be lucky you get to play to get to the next kicker and be happy with that. I didn't like the showboatiness of, and I love showboating. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of it. And but that's exactly what it was. It wasn't earned. One thing I will tell them that I think that about England that I think they're just superior at, and I'm just getting into soccer now. I'm not huge into soccer, but from what I can tell, they are tough on defense, man. Like even in the last round, who were they playing just before to get into
Australia?
Australia. there'd be times with Australia and even against Nigeria and whoever they played in between that. I forget who they played in between that, but the opposing women would get the ball right down there, right? Oh, Colombia. It was against Colombia. They would get the ball right down to the wire, right in front of the net, and then the England defense would swarm, and all of a sudden they had no choice but to shoot from the outside because once they got down there, there was no free looks. They were getting down there and they were swarming whoever had the ball. So I'll give them England credit. Their defense, from what I can tell, as a new soccer fan, from what I can tell, their defense is pretty impressive. And maybe Nigel, you could either agree or disagree with me. Maybe I don't know what I'm seeing. But to me, it was one of the things that I picked up on is their defense was extremely tough and better than the other teams that I thought. I just don't like the goalie with the showboating win. It's like you didn't make the save. The kick went wide, or the kick went high. You didn't make that save. So I didn't like the whole sticking your hands up in the air like you did something big and bad. So I am rooting for Spain. I've been rooting against England since I was rooting for Nigeria because they were the underdogs. I was rooting for Colombia because my family's from my wife is and my kids are Colombian. I was rooting, and then after that, I was rooting against England just in general, just because of the showboatiness. So I was rooting for Australia, and so now I'm rooting for Spain, and hopefully Spain takes it to them. I know Spain's probably the favorite, but
and that's sports, right? And that is why, like, all those connections that you have that can be far removed or close to the chest. Why you would root for Spain is the best. I have two corrections because I had said that China was in this World Cup. They're not. The reason why I said that is because I was doing a lot of research and I was listening to this interview or this breakdown of Megan Rapinoe. Make sure,
Rapinoe. I think people say it both. I've heard of both.
Yeah. So, but when they won the World Cup in '99, I believe that's who they played was China in the finals, and they won that game. That's why I was thinking of China because I was thinking of the U.S. stats. And then the other thing is, Lauren is actually in not second place, in third place with 3 goals because there's 4 other players that have 4 goals and then one other player that has 5, which is bananas. That player's from Japan. But so I just want to make sure I was correct on that. And I feel like I was going to. So the other connection too, because I was thinking of red flags. Hence, I said China. It's because Morocco, they had won a game which was like historical for them. They had jumped over all kinds of barriers to do good things in this tournament. And Jamaica as well, the first Caribbean team to make it into the to win a game as well. So there's a lot of firsts and a lot of things that like really are building women's soccer around the world and that are really helping not only to continue the success of the American women's team, but also the Canadians women's team as well. We had a horrible showing, but that just means we have a lot more work to do, but we know we're in a good place. Mm-hmm. It means that we were in such a great place for so long, winning the Olympics and whatnot just recently, but now it's like, okay, we got to put that work in. So, so make sure you do, wait, no, China was in it. I'm getting everything mixed up. You know what? It doesn't matter. Watch the finals on Sunday. It's fine.
Either way, it's almost over. We got one more game left.
Yeah, it's almost over.
Yeah, and then we can get to the real World Cup, the men's World Cup. No, I'm just joking. That was a joke. That was a joke.
We gotta go.
Caleeb, have you watched it? Have you kept up with it all? I know you watch it just about, as long as it's a sport, you watch it. So that's what.
Yeah, pretty much. And I have been watching. That's how I knew England played Australia. But what I love about this match is, for those of you that do not know, I'm a huge history buff. So many of you guys may not understand the history between England and Spain. At one point in time, Spain was the world's superpower. And why they were that is because they had the world's most powerful navy. It was called the Spanish Armada. And there was a time in history where Spain was a little upset with England. And they said, you know what? We're going to sail up there and just take England. We're the most powerful. We got all the gold from the exploitation of the Aztec and Inca people. So we rich, and we're going to take our big machines, our big boats, and go up there and just invade England and just shut all this down. They Protestants anyway. We Catholic. We don't get along with them. So they decide they're going to go up there. Except God had a different plan. What the Spanish didn't understand, they forgot to carry the one. Remember in math, when you're doing division, sometimes you got to carry the one so you can get the remainder. They didn't do that. So there's a thing called the English Channel that they had no idea was the most treacherous waters you could try to cross at the wrong time. And there just happened to be a big storm in that small thing called the English Channel. And guess what? The Armada got sunk. Not by anybody English, but by God himself, essentially. So I say all that to say, Spain's had a bad taste in their mouth since then because they felt they got robbed. It wasn't fair. They felt like they had been doing their confessions and God didn't hear them. So this game, they're gonna be coming looking for revenge. They call them La Furia Roja, pero yo creo they should be the Spanish Armadas as they come back for vengeance, la vergüenza, against England, right? So I'm going with Spain. I think they're going to do it. And it's for all those $1 million ships in today's money that were sunk and that's sitting at the bottom of the English Channel at this very moment. And I think they're going to bring home the World Cup. I concur with Gene. It's been a little rough relationship with England since 1776. You know what I mean? It's been a little contentious to say the least. You know what I mean? So, there's that. So I will leave it there, but I digress with all that. But all that stuff I just said about Spain and England is actually true. But very cool. I think it's going to be a great game, but I expect Spain to win because I agree with Nigel. They have a lot of firepower, a lot. And so even if English defense comes through like Gene predicted, which it probably will, it's the penalty kicks. It's the shootout. And that's where those three scores make a difference. Yeah. You know what I mean? Then we're going to see if the English goalie is out there doing the Hulk Hogan when she out there diving left and the ball's going right. He'd be looking like Messi. Did y'all see when Messi did the penalty kick? I mean, dude jumped to Dade County. He was so far out the way. It was like Messi could have just took the ball and just put it in there. You know what I mean? Like, it was insane. So, we shall see, but I think Spain takes it.
I agree. I got Spain. I'm rooting for Spain. Nigel, we asked you who you're rooting for. Who do you think's going to win?
I still feel like, man, I still feel like England's going to win. I know that it's dangerous. Like the Spaniards are dangerous, but I think the UK is going to win. I'm going to go, not UK. I keep saying UK. England.
Well, I'm just going to fix my thing. My thing almost died.
Don't know.
There we go. I'm back to normal. All right.
There you go.
Yeah. Listen. So their defense, would you say they're one of the better defensive teams in the tournament? Or am I totally just misreading it?
No, you're right, man. Yeah, no, you're right. They have a very, very strong defense. I mean, hence a lot of their games either going into penalty or going into or them crushing, like winning 1-2 4-0. I mean, their defense is on fire. Yeah.
All right. I want to make sure I'm understanding soccer the right way.
Baby steps.
I'm kind of new to it because I'm kind of new to it. All right, guys, let's talk about the outlook for some teams. We're going to talk about the Chargers, the Cowboys, and the Bengals. Let's do the Chargers first. That's Caleeb's second team, man. So let's start over there with Caleeb. What's your outlook for the Chargers this year?
Playoffs, absolutely, without question. I'm pulling for them to dethrone the Chiefs out of the West. I'm not saying that they will, but they can. They have a fantastic team. They always play the Chiefs well. If you watch those games, they're always close. I just think it's between those two out of the AFC West. I'm not giving Denver their love until I see Russell cook something that other people would like to eat. That's the problem. He's cooking, but don't nobody want that. That's what it is. So we're gonna see. But I think it's between Herbert and Mahomes, and I think it's going for that division. And Mahomes is, the best. He is the guy, but I don't think Herbert is too far. And I think it's gonna be great. So I'm pulling for the Chargers. Absolutely second place out of the West, but I think they could take the one just by, even if they lost to the Chiefs could lose to other teams in the AFC and lose that number 1 seed. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not just that, but I'm expecting a lot from the Chargers this year. They better beat the Jaguars if they play them again. There's no, now that's a rivalry after what happened. Like, you gotta take them out. And I know they're no joke. I just spoke about them the last show, the Jaguars. So I'm looking forward to it. But those are my guys down there in LA. I know it's not Diego no more, even though sometimes I say that. But I'm looking forward to it. I just really believe in Herbert. I really do. And I think, he's got a lot of great receivers. And he's got Austin Eckler. And their defense is nasty. I'm a big fan of Derwin James. And I love Asante Samuel Jr. Him and Victor Moan Jr. hang out all the time. So that's what I would say.
Aside from Asante Samuel's father being a punk,
come on now.
Come
on now.
But
we'll move on the father on the son. That's how you're doing it.
Was Samuel the one that had the 3 picks in the playoffs last year?
Yes.
So the kid, listen, the kid can ball. He definitely can.
Yeah.
And here's the big question for the San Diego. I did myself. The LA.
Exactly.
Can they stay healthy? Because that was a big problem last year. Is not being able to stay healthy.
That's part of the NFL, though. That's actually part of the game.
But they have 2 top of the line receivers, but yet they only had one healthy at a given time. Like at first they missed one guy, and they missed the other guy. So that was a part of the problem. And then that defense has got to stay healthy. Bosa, he's got to stay healthy, man.
And Mack.
Yeah, Khalil Mack. Derwin James, you're right. Derwin James might be the best safety in the league.
I love him.
He's a thumper back there, man. He can make plays, and he will lay you out.
Yes,
so
sir.
I love him too. Do you think? What are the odds? I'm looking at Super Bowl. How far do you think this team can get to in the postseason?
I think they can absolutely get to the AFC Championship. I believe that. I think they can. They just have to get through that first playoff game so they believe it.
Okay.
Because you know what I mean?
New York Jet, LA Charger, AFC Championship game. That would be fun.
Oh, that would be amazing.
That would be fun.
Man. Oh, man. That would be dope.
Nigel, what's your take on the Chargers this year?
I'm gonna, you know what? Some people zig. I'm not gonna zag. I'm gonna zog. And what zog means, zog is in the middle. That's what's happening. And what I'm gonna talk about right now is we've talked about the offense. We know what they are. We've talked about the defense. It's really exciting because we don't know what we're gonna see
Don't
as
you
long
bring
as
up that coach. Don't you bring up that coach?
No, I'm not.
Well, that is significant. There's a significant weakness on that team. It's fair.
Yes, but no, that's not what I'm going to bring. That's not what I'm bringing up. What I'm going to bring up is the special teams because I just did a little quick research into their punt return, their kick return, because at this point, this is kind of where you can make or break a team, right? Because we know what their offense is capable of, but also let's talk about positioning. Where do they get the ball? Who gets them that positioning? That can make a difference, right? There's this kid named Darius Davis out of TCU, rookie, and I believe he might do some damage. I'm not saying that he's going to do running back constantly, but I am saying that he might be a difference maker in a lot of games when Herbert and the squad need to get decent positioning, right? If the defense can hold up, that's great because that means they're going to shift their opponent's offense back. They got to kick the ball, and then where are they getting the ball? Then are they just going to get it right at their own 20 or at their own 30, or are they going to make up some yards and have their returners bring it back? They have a vet also, kick returner Joshua Kelly. He's going to be back there, and Darius Davis is actually backing him up for kick return. So these are exciting, man. So for me, I'm looking at that stat now just because this team has a fun offense, a really a potentially dangerous defense. Right. But then what else? So what makes them different? What makes them different?
Teams.
Sorry. Yeah. So special teams is a big talking point, especially because I was a special teams guy when I was playing university, but at the same time, the Steelers have a tendency to have their special teams can go one way or the other, and sometimes it really, really breaks the team. Like we can have a really great drive, and all of a sudden we peter out, we kick the ball, and then the other team returns it back for a touchdown or returns it for too many yards. That's my own beef. now I'm getting into like Gene New York Yankees territory, but I'm not going to. But yeah, so that's what I have to say about the Chargers. Look out for their special teams. Who knows?
Well, yeah, I mean that's always I think one of those undervalued positions in all sports is the special teams. I think people sometimes forget how important that it could be. Let's move on to Dallas, the Dallas Cowboys. What do we expect from Dallas? Nigel, you first.
I mean, we touched on this a little bit before. This team, and I don't hate Dallas. I just they're one of those teams for me where I'm like, oh man, again. But this year might be, damn, them. How about them? No, maybe it won't be fully that. Maybe it won't be fully, but it might be close. Because the Cowboys got a lot of weapons. They just keep adding to their team, man. And it's dangerous. They're going to be dangerous. So they got the Giants to go through, the Eagles to go through, and the Commanders, which they will absolutely decimate for sure. So this is a tougher division just because the Giants we know are coming up. The Eagles are exactly who we know they are, and even better this season coming up. So I think the Cowboys are going to be a lot of fun to watch. Surprisingly. I mean, if Wack does just a half a decent job, I'm on that Wack train. If he just does half a decent job, then they could be another force, man. You know, I really want to see Vaughn do damage. That's what I want to see. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's what I want to see. So yeah, I think they're going to be all right. How many wins they get last year? Like,
I think they got like.
I thought it was 12, right?
12, yeah.
12? I feel like they're going to do the same. I'm not going to lie to you. I think they're going to be
the third year in a row they go 12-5 then, because I think they've done it 2 years in a row already.
Yeah, I don't see anything. I don't see the improvements being that drastic that they run even further and go like 13, 14. I honestly think they'll still stay at 12.
Is it fair to say, Caleb, they go as far as I'll put some respect on his name. They go as far as Dak goes?
Yes, of course. I mean, that's what I was going to say. My point is this. You can have a Ferrari all you want, but if you don't have the oil change, if there ain't no gas, you need water, you ain't taking care of it, it ain't going to do nothing. It's going to lose to a souped-up Hyundai. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, in my point is exactly that. They go as far as Wack can take them. And to me, that is to the playoffs and an early exit. That's what he does. You gotta, you know what I mean? It's like you can't squeeze an orange expecting to get milk. That's not what happens. They got this orange and they keep saying, let's get milk. We can get some milk out of them. It's impossible. That's not how it's built. That's not what an orange does. That's what Wack is. And they keep trying to get milk out of them. It's not gonna happen. That team will go as far as he can take them because when the pressure is there, Wack chokes. He will throw the ball to the defense. That's what he'll do. Or he'll think he's giving it to his receiver and a defender will cut in. Or he will get it to his receiver, but it'll hit his receiver in the worst place ever, their hands. And then it goes up in the air. And then a safety comes down with it. Like, that's what happens. For whatever reason. I don't know if Wack's not paying his tithes in church. I don't know if he's not helping out blind kids. I don't know what he's doing, but he's damn sure not on the right side with the Lord because every time he needs something to come through, it never happens.
It's funny you say that because they're the team. I don't think I've said this more against another team where I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like it's just it's not me watching the full game. It's me seeing highlights and I'm like, oh my. Are you kidding me? I've said it about the Dallas Cowboys, I think 4 or 5 times every season. It's crazy.
That last playoff game against the 49ers, when he threw the interception to Warner, right? He throws it to the receiver. I think it was what's his name with the dreads? I should know. 88. What's his name? The young
Lamb.
Oh, Lamb.
Yes. I think it was CD. And it hits. And it and it goes up, and then one Niner went for it, missed it, and then Warner grabbed it. It was like you can't make it up. It's wonderful. So I say all that to say I expect them to be great. They're always good. They're not going to be. I don't think they win the division. I think the Eagles will But even if they do, I promise you, when the game is on the line or when they need it, Wack will not show up. That's what he does. That defense is going to get a pick. They're gonna cross it. They're gonna hit somebody, and Micah's gonna strip the ball, and the Dallas is gonna have it on like the 40, and all they need is 10 yards to get into field goal range, and they're gonna get right there, and then Wack is gonna see something that he thinks is downfield, and and the Dallas team the fans are gonna die. They're gonna say, "Oh, we had to do. Let's get 3 yards."
Are you kidding me?
Why wouldn't he give it to Deuce? Why wouldn't he give it to Deuce? I promise you. I see it already. I see it. I know it. So that's what I expect. 12 wins, absolutely. Hell, give them 13. Don't matter.
So you think they're one and done even if Dak has a good year, even if Dak bounces back?
Yes, because pressure busts pipes. He has not proven that he can handle it. He has not proven that. They should have beat the 49ers in that game. They could have. But guess what? They had Wack Prescott as their quarterback. And the Niners had a guy named Brock Purdy who barely even made it into the NFL. You know how much money Brock made last year? Neither do I. It don't matter. It was dick and donuts. But I bet you what? You know how much money Dak got? Yeah.
Yeah, you got a ton.
Okay. Come on now. That's why I call him Wack. It is what it is. He's going to have to show that he deserves all that, and he doesn't. So, again, that's what I'm expecting. Brilliant season. The Michael Irvin and all them Cowboys, LeBron and all them, yeah, Jay-Z, yeah, here we come. Yep, tragedy. Right up into the fourth quarter of the first playoff game. Reminds me of one of my favorite lines in Top Gun, the original, when Maverick got caught by Jester while he was trying to chase Viper. And he was downstairs and he was pissed. And Jester walked up to him and he said, "That was some of the best flying I've seen yet." Right up to the point where you got killed.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. That's what I'm predicting. So, yes.
So,
do it all you want, Mr. Prescott. You will fail when it comes down to it. You can't help it. It's who you are.
So then that brings us to to our final squad for the day. On our final topic of the day, the Cincinnati Bengals. What do we now? There's a big question mark. We don't really know. They're not. They're being very secretive about this calf. Caleeb, I know you call it, quote unquote calf. Give us your take on the Bengals this year.
I think they are in a phenomenal place, and I think they are competing for an AFC championship if Mr. Burrow is there. Without him, they now be. I won't say they won't be a playoff team. I don't want to be disrespectful because that defense is looking great, as Nigel was talking about earlier, right? But the AFC is too stacked. And when it comes down, this is a quarterback league. Your quarterback means something when it comes to these games, these high-level games. And I think without Burrow under center, they will come up short. I think so. I think they would. Like they'll lose a Burrow-less Bengals loses to the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Jets, maybe even the Jaguars. No BS with Trevor Lawrence back there, and you ain't got one of those. Those are the difference makers. So with Burrow, oh yeah, they could AFC Championship, Super Bowl. Like it could be any of that because he's that good back there, and that defense is nasty, right? Because but without him, playoffs, yes, early exit.
You think they can still? So you think they can still make the playoffs even without him?
Yeah, because doesn't each division get 2 playoff players now? I mean, or like some get 3.
Well, it depends. It goes by record. So if they have the better record, like each division sends the first, and then after that, it's the top 3 second place teams or
Right.
top 3 teams.
Right.
So like it could be they could get in, or it could be all the playoff teams could come from the East for all we know. Really, you know what I'm saying? So, like, what do you have them record wise?
Ooh, that's okay. With Burrow, 12 wins. 12, I would say that. 12 wins with Burrow. Without him, 9. And that could be a major like difference where you miss the playoffs like by the skin of your teeth, something like that. You know what I mean? Like it definitely could be that.
I see. I think Burrow's that important. I don't have them winning that. Do I think they fold up and go home? No. But without Burrow, I don't think they win more than 8 games. I just can't say I have a winning record. I mean, it's close, but I think they're going to be more in that 6-7 range, possibly squeak out an 8th, just on the rest of the team being so good. I mean, they do have the best receiver tandem in the league, I think.
Yeah.
So there is that. But you know what? You still need a guy that's going to be able to get them the ball. If you don't have a guy that can get them the ball, then it doesn't matter who they are. So, Nigel, what's your take on the Bengals? And I know, and here's another one, another division rival for you. What's your take?
Yeah, I'm in the same camp as you guys to start. First of all, I'm like 8-9 wins without. Again, I think they'll do the same damage 12 with. They're too good to not get into the playoffs with their backup quarterback. Like I still think they can make the playoffs if it's their backup quarterback who leads the way for most of the season or for the beginning part of the season. I still think maybe they go 0-2 to start. Who knows? Maybe they go 0-3 or maybe they go 1-2, whatever that number is. But I think that they're too good to not make the playoffs. Now, will they win the division? That might be an uphill battle depending on how long Burrow is out. That's a tall ask because now you have the Steelers who are fighting to get back to where we were before in the latter days, and that we're only like 1 season removed. Let's not forget because Pickett just came in last season, so we're only 1 season removed from where we were in terms of constant playoff contenders, whether it be wild card or just making it in as the division leaders, or the Cleveland Browns again, which we've talked about, who is still a threat, man, no matter how you put it, right? Old Deshaun, new Deshaun, we don't know which one we're going to get. But again, another dangerous team who it might come down to the wire, depending on what their quarterback play is. Again, to Caleb's point, this is a quarterback-led league, man. It is what it is. But also the other weapons that you have, you got to utilize them more. That just means that if Burrow's not in, there's going to be a lot more pressure put on the running backs, put on Mixon, put on the backups, and the receivers are going to have to do the best they can with just like checkdowns. a lot of checkdowns. Yeah. There'll be a big read, and they'll just constantly go from their distance, and keep coming back and closer to the line. So who knows? So I still think they'll make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to be as exciting as last year, but that's all based on how Burrow is. We really just need to know that, man, because that he really is the backbone of this team.
So do we feel any safer with him yet, or do we still think it could still be like? Do we still think it's the Achilles, or do we feel a little bit like, all right, maybe it's not?
No, I think it absolutely is, and I think they're trying to rest it. They are doing everything they can to keep that thing warm, to keep it right, to try because they don't want it to go. I absolutely think that's what it is. I could be wrong because I'm not an orthopedic surgeon or whatever whoever that would deal with that. But I think from what I saw in the Achilles injuries that I've seen, especially in the NBA, the way he pulled up was that. And they always say that it's a calf, always, because Achilles is like you don't say that word, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, no, I get it.
So it's that. I do believe that, and I think that's why they don't have no timetable on his return. They are resting because they want that to be healthy and strong for the season. You're
even seeing Jamar Chase saying, "Hey, as long as he's back by week 5, we're good. We don't even need him don't even show up until then." So they keep pushing back the timeline of, hey, don't show up until here. Don't show up until here. Don't show up until here.
So how long is that? So he's been injured how long? A month?
At this point, it's probably about 3 weeks.
Okay.
It was like that first week camp open, I believe, right?
And he said week 5. We're not even done with preseason yet.
Yeah.
So he's talking about
that's like 2 months.
Basically.
Yeah, almost.
Right. For a calf, no. We know. I know what that is, and he knows what that is. They're just not saying it publicly. That's why he's like, nah, brother, take his money. Because I don't care if you got to miss half the season. We don't want you to miss a whole season and a half trying to get back from that. So that's what it is. So, yeah.
And that's an interesting call, too, because week 1 through 5. So week 1, Cleveland, Baltimore, Chargers, Titans, and Arizona. So with or without Burrow, again, Cleveland, Baltimore, Chargers, Tennessee, Arizona, they could go
3-2.
Yeah, that's what I'm counting. They could go 3-2. So or 2-3. Like I think it could go either way, but they'll get some wins.
But they could also be 4-1. Who knows? I doubt it.
Yeah.
I doubt it, but it's there. You know what I mean? But but Chase is probably thinking, shoot, 3-2, we still in this thing. Especially if Big Daddy come back, like now we rolling. You know what I mean? So I see it. I see it.
Yeah.
Is there a timeline that you give him?
Huh?
Is there a timeline that you think we'll see him by?
That I think we'll see him?
Yeah.
I mean, the coach said, we're waiting. They already said he wasn't playing first week. They already ruled that out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm probably thinking what Chase said is what he wasn't supposed to say publicly. Week 5 is where they're expecting him to come back.
Yeah.
You know what? And I'm gonna take the over on that. I'm gonna say week 6, only because week 6 is when they're home. Because week 5 they're away, they're in Arizona, which could be good too because it's nice weather and stuff. But I just feel like
warm.
Yeah. I just feel like it's a week 6 could be the thing because they're home. See, you have to go far. You've traveled.
Who's that again? Who's week 6 against?
Week 6 is Seattle.
Oh, Seattle.
Yeah. And that's a winnable game, right? So
yeah, especially at home.
Yeah. So I don't know. Who knows?
On the right foot.
Yeah. Who knows? We're doing all the God's work in terms of speculating like crazy. So who knows?
Yeah, man. All right. So, guys, that's going to actually wrap up the episode, man. So we get out of here a little early today. Before we get out of here, though, some last words of the day or last words of the week. Nigel.
Woo! Listen, the weekend is coming up. You know what? Take some time for yourself. And, I don't know, read a comic book or, like, grocery shop and buy something that you don't normally buy. How about that? Like, grab some fruit or some ice cream or something just different. Also, I'm going to buy a hat today.
There we go. As always.
I love that Nigel said buy something different. He's going to buy the exact same thing.
The irony.
Don't do as I do. Don't do as I do. Just do as I say.
I know that's right. Yes.
Caleb, last words of the week.
Y'all know what it is. A beautiful, beautiful week. Hope everybody enjoys themselves. Stay safe. Enjoy your life while you can. And tell the people you love them. And enjoy life and spread love. It's the Brooklyn way.
Yeah,
guys. Remember, in a couple of weeks we'll be debuting the new opening graphics. Pretty much just showing some of the new people that will be joining the team and adding Woody to it. But so stay tuned for that. And again, we have a couple of people that are going to be joining up with us in the next few weeks. So stay tuned. We'll reveal who they are going to be when they show up. But other than that, guys, have a great today, a better weekend, and we will see you on Tuesday.
Peace.
That's the pop off for today, folks. Thank you to all of our listeners, as well as our producers, Patty Puddles and Fareed Kameo. And make sure you tune in tomorrow to hear what these hooligans will pop off about next.